Hello everybody, we're back with Starship Corporation. This is the next part. Welcome to the next part. I have been spending hours, literally hours, constructing my first ship, my first cargo vessel. And I've been enjoying it a lot. I mean, it's just very interesting to design these ships and try and meet all the objectives. So I'm going to load my design. Alright, here we are. It's Wessel 001. Bit of a graphic glitch here where it shows these red outlines. They go away when I switch levels, so I'll put that away for the moment. So here we are. If you remember before, this was just empty, right? And I was playing around with placing cooling units and like generators in the engine room and stuff. But after, like I said, hours of just sort of trying things out and trying layouts out, I came up with this layout. I think it's pretty good, and all it is just over budget by 106%, which isn't too bad, actually. I couldn't meet this design without going over budget. If there's another way, maybe there's a more efficient way, I'll have to figure it out. But what I found out, this little cargo vessel has to have certain values met for fuel, for power, for water, for air, certain core rooms like the life support, the computer core, and up here, you know, the bridge. Because it's a cargo ship, the cargo bays. But here we are. This is what I got. So we have our engine room here, large generator, couple fuel tanks right here. This is another water. This is a water tank, and another fuel tank up there because I needed 3 to meet the fuel range, which is right here. Fuel supply in kilotons and range in teramiles. The available fuel supply and engine rooms in relation to the construction goals set by the contractor. So there's a little corridor here. There's an air tank, another small generator here, cooling unit, computer core, life support, water treatment plant, everything, emergency escape vehicle, some corridors for people to get through from the main lift right to the engine room and the generators and stuff. And on this level, the power grid is as follows. So I'll click on the large generator and you can see the grid. So here we have the grid. Basically, you put these little green markers out towards these red squares. Those are where you have to attach the power lines to power the room. So after quite a bit of messing around, I managed to get this all laid out. The large generator basically manages all the rooms. You can see the engine room, which took quite a lot of power, 150 off of its 500. And you know, fuel tanks need, these rooms need the power, air tanks, life support, all this needs power. So the large generator I used to power as many rooms as I possibly could, and the lift here. It's kind of hard to see here, but this is the cooling room, the large cooling room. Seemed to be all I could really do. I tell you, it took some messing around to get this to fit really well. But I like it, and I don't mind it being over budget, because as I understand the gameplay, when you get to it, you could earn money doing missions, so you could just cover the cost of the over budget anyways. You take the loss initially to get the ship running. But the interesting thing about this is that you have multiple grids actually for every power supply. And what I did with grid 1, basically, I'm just going to switch around the grids here. It's a little bit of a bug there where it doesn't quite show the available power on the grid. Like I said, I hooked up all the rooms on grid 1. And that is the mainly off the large generator. I don't think I hooked up anything else on grid 2. So one thing about this too, if you click this, you change it, it changes that power generator to that grid. So you see I just switched the grid and all the other rooms went dead. If I go out of it, they're all dead now because I switched this to grid 2. Basically, because these are both on grid 2, they're actually combining power to open up all the doors. You'll see what I did with that in a second. But grid 1, all the rooms, the large generator. Okay, let's pick the small generator room now. This is where I did all the doors on the bottom level. Seemed to be the most efficient design I could get. So there you go. I could use the small generator, just power all the doors. All the doors, the exit hatches, cooling door hatches, everything. And then what that shows you there is the amount of power left. So there's only 25 left on that grid, which is actually okay because you have a bit of extra power. You can squeeze a bit out of it, I guess. So there you go. Same thing with grid 1. That has 31 extra power, but everything's powered on that floor. So there you go. Now cooling. This is a different system. I was doing it totally wrong in the first video, like totally wrong. But really, all you do with cooling is it's like power. Once you select the cooling room, you build these cooling vents basically towards the units that need cooling. So the computer core needed cooling, the life support, the generator itself, you know, this large generator here too, and the engine room, of course. Basically what you do is you just build these little lines, like these. You can see here, there it goes. It's just drawing lines to the rooms. It's kind of cool. Cooling supply, it tells you right here, 300 terawatts, cooling needed 235. It's very useful. I actually didn't notice that before. Oh well. Maybe they need to make that font a little bigger. But you can see here, this required 100 units of cooling. If I disconnected it, there's this red, and I go into it, and now it's got no cooling. It'll tell you here, no cooling. Requires 4 technicians. I haven't got the crew yet, so there you go. Back to this, and just hook that back up. Boom. Cooling supply. It is a little tricky. Oh yeah, this I almost forgot. Sorry. You do have to switch to this second little grid selector to pick the heat grid, basically. So there you go. I switched to 2. Now nothing's heated. Switch to 1. There's 165 left because I disconnected the engine room. I hook up the engine room. Needs to refresh a bit. You can see it lost 100, so there's only 65 left cooling on there. Again, an overcooling, which is okay. I mean, I couldn't quite meet it with a medium cooling unit because it was just not quite enough. You know, it's just that only provides 200, and you see the whole place needed 235, right? So it was just a bit short. So I had to go with a large one and rethink the corridors I had here and everything. But there you go. There's the bottom level where the engine room and life support and core and tanks are and everything. The upper level of my cargo ship, Wessel 001, is the cargo rooms, some emergency escape vehicles, a couple small generators, another medium generator, a small cooling unit because this level did not need much cooling at all. You know, and I went with the optional objectives, adding galleys, sick bay, crew, tech crew, everything. It tells you here what you need too. Like, these are all optional. I could have found a way, I guess, by taking something out to add military and security on there if I really wanted to. It's a cargo ship. Just don't really need it. Here you go, medical personnel, 2 of 2. It says here, number of medics available, number of medics needed full-time, 2 of 2. And number of medics needed part-time, in rooms with maintenance, intervals, part-time numbers optional. Like, you don't need to meet that, but I did meet it, because it's green. I think because I had the crew bay I picked. Oh no. It is just 2 crew, 2 medical crew. There you go, see I got 4 technicians, I have enough technicians, I have enough pilots. That was a bit surprising actually, you needed 6 pilots to get this thing working. 1 part-time guy. 23 technicians part-time. What? Okay. Based on maintenance interval. Okay. So there you go, the bridge. A little exit here from the bridge. Space for the pilot crew. Sick bay, everything. I was able to get everything on here. EEV, a couple of these. I needed 3 of these for this ship because of the amount of crew on it. There you go. You can see here, these are all the numbers, and they're pretty much all green. These are, I really don't know how you would meet these in parentheses, because those are optional. I'm not quite sure what they mean. The parentheses in red there. What it says here is Y%. You can see there. That's the percentage for the crew members needed by room demand. So I've only got 51% of that. I'm not sure how you would meet that on the ship. Maybe you, with that supplying excess amount of air supply or water supply. But I'm meeting the requirements because they're green. You can see it's 167%, 250%, so it's more than enough for the whole ship. Cooling supply, I'm a little bit above it. Energy supply, I'm a bit above it. Storage space, I hit it pretty much exactly. This is the engine. 0 radians per second. I'm not sure what that means, but it sounds interesting. Fuel range, you know. But yeah, because I went all out on this thing, I'm over budget a bit. But you can, like I said, you can recoup that cost. And that's kind of nice. You can over-design your, well, you can design your ship with everything you think it should have, or you want it to have, and boom, you can just try and do missions later, I guess, to recoup that cost. If I really wanted to, I could take out some of these buildings like the galley or the sick bay, because these are really just optional. You only need certain things essentially, like a bridge, the cargo bays, the generators, the engines, tanks, some tech crew. I just went this because why not? And I figured why the hell not? Let's just go crazy. Design this sucker. So this is one hell of a cargo ship. Probably a bit expensive to run. But yeah, you see here's your objectives. I completed 22 of 23. The only one I didn't get right was budget. I didn't come in under budget. But the bridge is okay, the computer core is okay, the engine rooms are okay, the cooling is okay, pilots, everything is okay. One thing I noticed when I was placing water tanks, there was another objective that popped up. Once I completed the water supply, it suddenly added water treatment. I don't know why, but it was a little weird. Like it wasn't going to let me succeed without that. This one, all quarters and hatches sealed. I'm not sure why you have to do this, but when you first place these, they're not, I guess, sealed. So you have to just click on them individually, and then that sort of, it seals them. I'm not sure why that mechanic is in there. It just seems sort of, I don't know, it's like, I guess you're activating those as connections. It's a little weird. But I had to do it for all the doors and corridors to seal them off. I'm not sure why that mechanic is in there. Sort of, it seems like a bit of too much clicking. You're just clicking on all these doors and stuff. Just like, why not just have it work? Maybe if there was a button that would automatically do that, that would probably be better. But there you go. So there you go. I've pretty much hit this ship pretty good, over budget, so I don't get that. I got one error message, but it's an optional, so I don't need to meet that. It says right there, budget limit that is determined either by the contract or by yourself. Staying within limit is optional because you can save costs later during production or choose to sell at a loss on purpose. There you go. So the grid, similar idea. I mean, this generator, I tried to power as many of the rooms and lift as possible. That seemed the best way to do it. Switch that back to grid view. It's a little bit. This is a little weird. You can hide it if you want to. But there you go again. There's the grids. If I switch it to 4, shuts everything off. This is now I've switched this to grid 4, which doesn't exist. There you go. Switch it back to grid 1. Powers everything up. Go. Kind of neat they had a little sound effect there. Grid 1, and there's 41 terawatts left. Grid 2, there's 10. It actually highlights it if you can see there as I'm over it what the grid is. Grid 3, 62. I'll show you what that is in a minute. So yeah, so the medium generator, I powered as many of the rooms as I could, except these two. And I'll tell you, I'll show you in a minute. So this little generator here, I used to power as many of the doors as possible, and a couple corridors, and this the little heating room, like cooling room there. Similar idea. I tried to have it all powering the doors. Figured why not. But I didn't quite have enough power with just those two, so I had to use. I was going to get rid of this, but I did have to utilize it to just power the med bay. And I mean, that seems to make sense to me. You have an independent power supply for the med bay and med crew. I mean, if you didn't want a crew at this time, the ship this time, on one mission, I guess, you could just power this off and this generator too, and it wouldn't matter. But yeah, about that, powering off. Each individual room too actually has this power on and off button. I'm not sure what the use of that is yet, because I guess you could power things off to sort of shift your power supply around. Like maybe you don't need the sick bay right away and you've got a damaged generator because you're in a fight, so you kill the, or you kill like the cargo bay power or something. You just flip them off and it goes yeah. So then you get that power back. Click on it again, powers back up. So I'm guessing that would be kind of useful in the missions when you have to decide, like maybe your generator gets affected by a nebula or something, so you have to start powering down things to keep the essential life support going or something like that, or certain essential rooms going. But I guess we'll see. I don't really know if that's how that's going to work. Grid 2. See, this is the other thing too. When you have a room selected, you can choose what grid it pulls off of. So there I just switched to grid 2, which is just for all the doors. And there's not enough power there to power that. This thing needs like 80 power. So I'll switch it back to grid 3, and it comes back. Grid 4, again, there's nothing powering grid 4, so boom. There you go. So that is Wessel 001. Done, designed, after, I tell you, hours and hours of just messing around. And I really enjoyed it. I gotta say, I mean, I don't know why. It was just so, it's a challenge, right? It's a puzzle. And you've gotta like figure out how the pieces all fit together and how they all connect. And in the limited space. And I found it with the small ship, it was quite challenging. I started with a small ship, so I had limited space and I didn't quite meet budget, but hey, I don't know what to do about that. I mean, I'd have to kill something, probably take the sick bay out or something. Then I think it would probably be in budget. But yeah, without sick bay, you would get the morale hit from what it says. See, because this is normally an optional. Optional. The sick bay is necessary to treat heavy injuries and is fast in treating minor injuries. If not available, medical personnel can do without, but they're less efficient, but with negative effect on the overall morale. So I figured, well, why not just make the room and just keep the morale up? But I could probably take that out if I wanted to get into budget, because you probably don't need a sick bay. You know, you could start killing the extra. You could probably kill that extra generator because this doesn't need 80 power, and you could just power off the rooms or something, and you could probably pull it off of a different generator. But this is like the complete ship design for me. I really, like I said, I really enjoy this. I don't. It's a brain teaser. It's a puzzle to me, and I just had to try and figure out how to solve it. You know, I have a bit of extra space. If I really want to, I could probably throw something there, like another emergency escape vehicle or another cooling unit, but I don't need it. So, there you go. One thing I would say, I kind of wish they had... I couldn't tell in the interface here or any options here if you could have a cooling unit provide cooling between decks. Like, the lift is the only thing that seems to go between decks. But power and cooling is on the deck independently. Like, this cooling unit, even though there's extra on it, like a bit extra, I can't like connect it to something on the engine room. It doesn't seem to work. If there was a way to do that, it would be kind of neat, because that would make it maybe a bit easier to design ships. But I think that maybe that's part of the challenge. You have to keep all the systems on the level for power and cooling. Keep it all on the same level. So there you go. There's my ship, my rating. This is my design rating. This is the ship. There you go. I only got one star as my mission progress. A medium cargo vessel that can travel medium distances with low crew count. My rating is 268. Living 10 points for facilities improving the crew's living conditions. Captain quarters. Galley. I couldn't fit a captain's quarter in here. It seems like a bit too much to do, really. I mean, it's just a cargo ship. Whatever. Storage, you know, points for storage rooms, air tanks, fuel tanks. The energy, you know, emergency equipment. Like, I don't have an emergency bridge or gear or landing gear or anything like that. So apparently I don't need it for this ship. I could add it somewhere. Health. There's no offense, there's no defense either. Oops. Because I have no shields. So it's kind of gonna probably blow up if it gets attacked. But it's a cargo ship, so I might have to think about cramming in a shield generator, but I don't think I could, because it would just take too much. I don't even know where I would put this. Shield generator takes to kinetic energy out of projectiles and debris too close to the hull. It loses energy when hit and takes some time to recharge. I don't even know where you would put this. It doesn't seem to have a place where you can put it. Oh, there it is. So it has to be against the hull. So I guess I could put a shield generator in there, and then connect the grid to it. Well, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. That shows you the area it protects. Wow. That's interesting. I mean, I guess you would have to, so you have to build multiple shield generators to get the ship properly shielded. That would be tricky to do with this design, man. Wow. I don't think I could. That this is just crammed in here with it as much as the essentials the ship needs. I mean, if it gets attacked, it's taking straight damage. I'm not sure how that works, but I will find out, I guess. So there you have it. That is Wessel 001. It's finished. completed almost every objective. Only one orange. There you go. So with that, what I'll do next is I'll export this design, I guess, and I'll use it in a crew mission. Which is, from what I understand, general operations. But we'll do that next time. See you then.